Hi everyone, I'm WriterMaven. Just decided to jump on really quick, no warning, um, just to get out some thoughts. I was going to use my time right now to narrate something about Charlotte Flair and why she got booed, and how I knew this was going to happen. But I'm not liking it, and I think it needs a lot more work. And I don't think I have the energy to dedicate to Charlotte Flair right now. So maybe I'll just shelve it until maybe after SmackDown and see what happens. But I just want to come on, just talk a little bit. I want to talk about Raw a little bit because I want to amend some of my thoughts from what I had from Raw now that I've thought about it. For these past couple of days, now that I've been really thinking about it, we might have Liv somehow still face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. And this might be just the plan all along. It's just that Triple H is taking his sweet ass time and his convoluted booking to get there. How do you think this happens? Well, there's a couple of different signs here. First of all, if it was just going for like Iyo and Rhea at WrestleMania, and a lot of people still think it's just going to be them, even though I've given many reasons why I don't think that happens because, of course, that's going to be boring as fuck. And we've already seen like boring builds up to WrestleMania. One of the reasons why I think it might go back to Liv versus Rhea at WrestleMania is because they need the story. Liv and Rhea is a story. Notice how much more interesting Rhea got and how much more interesting this Iyo thing with Rhea got when Liv got reinserted back into the story. Now, people online can be bitching about it, but it's just usually people that just want the people that are bitching about it are the people bitching about them thinking that Iyo is going to get shortchanged or whatever. Like these are just the Joshi fans that just want Iyo for no reason. But if you're online, you should know with Iyo, yeah, she's a good wrestler, but we just had her as champ, and like I said, the storyline with Bailey was boring. And Bailey carried that match build previously to WrestleMania, so she's already had that match. I'm not sure why you would want to throw Iyo back in there when the more interesting thing and the more interesting feud that pulls the viewers is Liv versus Rhea. So how do I think Liv is going to be back with Rhea? Because let's see what went on Monday Night Raw. We had Liv outsmart Rhea, get Iyo DQ'd, and then Liv is in the Elimination Chamber match. Iyo is out. Now, you have people online saying, well, she could do a last chance. But I don't think there's going to be any opportunities for a last chance match for the Elimination Chamber. We only have a month of build. Elimination Chamber happens on March 1st, I believe, and that's only in 3 weeks. So unless something happens between now and then, I don't believe there's going to be any kind of last chance matches. So for Women's Elimination Chamber, it's probably going to be filled with Liv and possibly even um, Bailey, because Lyra already has the IC champ, so there's no reason for her to be in there. And then you can switch, and then this is where the Elimination Chamber can get a little bit more diversified. So you can throw in matches with Bianca and Naomi, and then maybe Candace or Nia Jax. It depends on where they want to go with Nia, like with how they want to do with Tiffany. So you can throw in one of them over there. And that's like if you do Liv, Bailey, Bianca, Naomi, Nia. That's about 5 people. And I think is that a 6 person match? You could probably throw in one more person, but you only got like a month to build. It's too little build to do last. I don't think to do a last chance match to get an elimination chamber, and that leaves EL on the outside looking in. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to have Rhea face Iyo at Elimination Chamber. Now, why would they do that? Because Rhea needs a match. Now, I've always joked on here and said that, we probably won't see Rhea not wrestle until WrestleMania, but this gives Rhea a match on EC, so she's not flailing in the wind for the whole, month and a half of not wrestling until WrestleMania. it gives her a title up. It gives the title opportunity, and they can really build a really misunderstanding between Iyo and Rhea in these couple of weeks, and throw her on the Elimination Chamber match, and then Rhea just beats her, and then that's it. Again, you can build up a little bit of storyline here, but it's not going to be the story that WrestleMania deserves, and that's Liv and Rhea. So Rhea beats Iyo at Elimination Chamber. You can also throw in Asuka coming back here and costing Iyo the match, where they can start up something with maybe PFC, Pure Fusion Collective. Because remember, they were staring after Iyo too, so that's a dangling thread. So they're still tied up with that. So if she's still tied up with Pure Fusion Collective, I know she's not going to divert all her time back to Rhea, because they wouldn't show that little hint. Triple H is not subtle. So if Pure Fusion Collective was looking at Iyo for a reason, there's a reason for it. So we're gonna have Iyo and Rhea possibly at EC, and then at Elimination Chamber itself, you could have Liv win the match, and that gets her to WrestleMania. Now, I've kind of flip flopped on myself, where I thought Charlie was going to go after Rhea, but I really think it's probably going to be Charlotte on SmackDown, so they can run Tiffany and Charlotte Flair. I still don't think it makes it kind of a lick of sense, but I think that's what's going to happen, because it just seems like that's what it's going to leave it up to. And then if it flips back to Charlie, you can have Alexa, because now they're saying Alexa is going to SmackDown instead of Raw. And that flips Alexa over there to SmackDown, and then Alexa has something to feud with Charlie about. And again, take dirt sheets with a huge grain of salt, because they had Alexa on Raw too, so she might end up being on Raw eventually, but who knows? But I think that's the case, where you have Charlie facing Tiffany, and then you'll have Liv sneak back up into the match with Rhea for WrestleMania. And now people are going to question, well, what about the tag titles? Simple. You can make Liv a double champ. She'll be tag team and the women's champ. Why? Because they need to build up La Familia or Judgment Day, whatever iteration, when Dom gets through with Finn. Having them as double champs gives any iteration that they want to go with some credibility. You'll have La Familia with gold, and then if they go with Dom getting like IC or any kind of gold himself, then you have gold in the group, and that legitimizes that, and that puts them back as heels, and then you can spin it back up where faces are chasing after the heels again. So you have Liv and Raquel. You have Liv as double champ, and then Liv as Raquel as the tag team champs. Um, and then you carry this on through SummerSlam. Becky could return here, and then you can have that nice feud set up for Liv and Becky, because again, that's a more interesting feud. Rhea, after this, I don't know what she would do. I think she takes some time off. I really do, because she is taking she's not being as active as she was, because even when she wasn't doing much in her first title reign, she was still kind of active. Like, she was doing live events and things like that. But here, it just feels like she's not doing much at all. I still think she has some nagging injuries. So I think after this, she takes a break. She takes the break, and then she can do a return later, and maybe she can show up on SummerSlam to do something else. Do a trade. Go put her over there with her Terry Twin buddy on SmackDown, and then we can go from there. But yeah, like I said, I think right now the goal, or at least the plan, will be Liv and Rhea at WrestleMania. We'll have to see how what happens on Friday. We'll have to see what happens on Monday. If Monday we see Rhea like offering a title shot to Iyo as an apology for getting her DQ'd, then I think that's our clue that they're going with Liv, because nobody else in that match will be facing up with Rhea, especially if Charlie selects Tiffany to face, Tiffany to go at WrestleMania. And again, the story with Liv and Rhea is much more interesting. Liv will come after Rhea. She can be smart about it, and she'll have more confidence. Um, hopefully this time, if they do run Liv and Rhea, we actually get the storyline. We get the history. We need the history. So if it ends up being Liv and Rhea at WrestleMania, we need the history. Everything needs to come out here. Like they did with Bloodline, like they did with Drew McIntyre, they need to do the history. That means we need to get the history with Dom on why he really chose Liv. We need the history of why and how Liv and Dom hooked up. We need to have the history of that. I'd probably go with the theory that they hooked up way before Rhea got injured. You have that theory, start breaking it down, seeing what they did. All of Rhea's actions need to be laid bare because she never got an official face turn. This could probably be the face turn because everything with her character is convoluted and it was capped off and shot at the knees. So this could actually be a restart for Rhea. She could get him. She can get beat at WrestleMania. She takes her time off. She has to go reflect, and then she can come back and be a different type of character. Because I think now they're realizing you can't keep going with this Rhea character. Because yeah, she's going to get the pop, but it's not going to be sustained. Because look at what happened with that promo with Rhea and Charlotte on Monday. She got the initial pop, but then everything died after that. So what needs to happen is that we need the history. We need to see we need to see that Dom set up Rhea to be attacked by Liv, so he pretty much caused her injury. We need to see that Dom and Liv have history. Like they can go back all the way back to what when Dom first showed up during the pandemic era with Liv and stuff like that. So they could do the history of they've always had a thing, and maybe Rhea even swooped in because she knew Dom and Liv had a thing, and then that got thwarted, and so this was just them finding them way back to each other. So you could kind of spin it like that, and then you could also throw in the history of Raquel. You could say that Raquel thought everything was buried under the hatchet, but then Rhea just went back on everything, and you could tell their history from NXT. So there's a lot of different ways they can do it, but the history has to be put out there. They can't sugarcoat it. They can't whitewash it. They can't rewrite it. They can't insult people's intelligence. Like they can't do what Michael Cole did and say that he warned Rhea about Dom, and they can't say that Rhea was manipulated by Edge into Judgment Day. They can't do that. What they probably need to do is a storyline reset where they just wipe the slate clean. They can kind of keep going forward, but this is the time where they actually start. They actually show the progression. Like if they can progress, like if Dom is kicking out Finn, you could always say there it was Dom always masterminding things where he masterminded Damien getting kicked out, Rhea being turned on, and then Finn getting kicked out. They have to go with that history. That history needs to be told. And if they want to include Dom in this, they can. And by that I mean he can be like a little bit more involved. Like I don't want him to be there just to get a riptide because he's already gotten the riptide, but he can be in there to just show what Rhea has done to him and that she's not the innocent party. But like I said, if they're going to go that route, that needs to happen. So to switch over to Dom and Finn, Finn goes against Seth for the Elimination Chamber match. Me personally, I kind of hope that either they kind of play a little bit with this match. I do if they just do it straight up, I think Seth is going to win. Like if it's just Finn with no shenanigans, I'm hoping it's just Seth winning straight up, and then like Dom has no, they're not assisting with it, so it's just a straight loss for Finn. Sorry, Finn, you got to take that loss. But if they want to play around with it, I would go with just like maybe Finn looking like he's been taken out by somebody where he can't do the match, and then Dom steps in to take Finn's spot, and then Dom somehow gets the win over Seth. And they can kind of play it with like a DQ or a count out. Like maybe Hook comes out there and distracts Seth, and then Dom gets to win that way. You can kind of do it like that. It protects Seth, and it continues the feud between Seth and CM Punk. So I kind of want that. If it's just a straight up match, I want Seth to win straight up and Finn to lose. But you can do a lot more things where Dom gets into the Elimination Chamber match just by like taking Finn's spot, and continue the downward spirals of Finn that way. There's also the chance where Dom could just end up being in the Intercontinental thing, with Penta and Braun Breaker and all them and stuff like that. So maybe even they have like an IC title match at Elimination Chamber, and Dom gets in there. And maybe by then, Chad Gable has learned the dark arts of Lucha Libre, and he helps out Dom that way. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I think there's, I won't say it's a pivot. I'm thinking more like the WWE has realized the error of their ways, and they're just aligning the story to get back to Liv and Rhea. Because as much as people complained about it, I think now people now know that the problem was not Liv. It's been Rhea and how they book Rhea. But let me answer some questions real quick while I got the time. Senior, since I was watching Liv's recent interview, yeah, there's been a couple of recent interviews here, and Dom has been doing some interviews for Up, Up, Down, Down, where he's playing the game and doing an intergender thing with Rhea. Like, I'm really tired of that. Like, you gotta really throw in Dom to go with Rhea in the intergender thing for 2K25. So I don't know. I'm just kind of annoyed with it. Like, go select somebody else. But we had that this week. Let's see. Senor says, I set Liv Rhea's last match at WrestleMania if they add a stipulation. Yeah, I mean, maybe they could even bring back Hell in a Cell for that. We only had Hell in a Cell for Bad Blood. So they could probably do a Hell in a Cell or a cage match or something like that. I think they almost need Hell in a Cell for a stipulation between Liv and Rhea. And I think that could work for them. Do Hell in a Cell, have Liv win, and then that writes off Rhea for whatever. Because I do think she's still banged up. Because if she's gonna keep doing those headbutts, then she's still gonna be banged up. Senora says Rhea is always a problem for her breakup friendships. Yeah, like if you keep getting broken up with, the problem is you. And people say that too. Like everything, she's the center of every broken up relationship. With Iyo, with Liv, with Raquel, with Nikki, ASH, currently Nikki over there in the Wyatt Six, but she caused issues with Nikki too. Nikki was just smart enough to turn on her first. So she's always caused issues with her friendship. Even the same kind of thing with Dakota Kai. Like she's always been at the center of it. It's always been her. It's always been an issue with her, and they need to probably explore that more, and that might help her with her face character. Senor says, "What will happen with JD when he comes back from his injury?" Some people are saying that he could go face, but I almost say that he can almost line back up with JD because he can line back up with Dom because he knows that it wasn't Dom that caused the injury. And I think he could even put it out there where he doesn't even like how Finn tried to put the blame on Dom for losing a match and him getting injured. So they can't spin it back to like him joining Dom, and then he just has a more edgier character where it's not like people are making fun of his big head. He's just now has been rebuilt as more tougher, and he could go more to his Irish Ace character that he had in NXT. If he could go back to that, I think he'd be okay. Because I love that character in NXT, where he was more sadistic. I think that would work. And let's see. Senor says Liv's WrestleMania match should be night one and Dom versus Finn should be night two. Yeah, they need to separate out those matches. Either Dom and Finn need to be night one and Liv and Rhea be night two, or vice versa. They need to split them out so at least Dom could be out there and Liv could be out there celebrating each other for their win. Let's see. I think that's it. I didn't have a lot of time, but I just kind of wanted to go over like my series real quick. I probably have more. I'll probably do more in depth thing or more in depth thought on Saturday. I think I'm going to go live on Saturday. Another T sessions where we'll go into what happened on SmackDown and we'll prepare for Monday Night Raw because we'll probably know what's going on Monday Night Raw was after SmackDown rolls around. So we'll see that.